I don't worry at all about fiber intake, getting enough fiber to use the bathroom. None of these things that people are concerned about come to my mind at all. And not even now that I'm doing carnivore, which means I haven't had a plant in over 6 months. A lot of people wonder why I'm not concerned. Obviously, I will say that I'm not concerned and freaking out because at this moment in time, I'm not having a problem with bathrooming. But then people ask me, well, but aren't you concerned that maybe later down the road you might have GI tract problems like polyps and potential cancer because you're just not going to the bathroom enough? And so today I want to talk about my history of eating and bathrooming. And if this is grossing you out, well, you probably want to skip this video. When I was younger, I remember being classified as a picky eater. One particular example that I have that I actually remember from my childhood was one of our trips to Barbados. That's where my family's from. And when we were on this trip, all my cousins were able to eat whatever my aunt made, not me. And I remember during this trip, it was brought up over and over and over again. Now, what's interesting to me is that what was bothering me about the food was how spicy hot it was. Not spicy flavorful, spicy like my mouth was on fire. And my cousins and my brother all seemed to be managing this so much better, easier than I was. Now, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I also didn't like the fruits and I didn't like the vegetables. I think the one thing that I was eating on the trip consistently, easily was ackee, which is this green skinned fruit that when you break it open, it's yellow on the inside. And that tasted good to me. Actually, I ate a lot of ackee during the trip. But the fruits that they had there just tasted weird. The vegetables that they had there just tasted weird. I ended up spending the entire trip eating roti. So that's a dish where you have a shell filled with meat and potatoes. And mine was basically chicken and potatoes that my aunt was making for me with no spice in it, like pretty much at all. So that's what I lived on pretty much. Now, I also was eating breakfast, so I had cream of wheat while I was there, which I found that delicious. I remember that very vividly in my mind. The cream of wheat, loved it. And then supper for like a month straight, I had mostly roti. So those are the two things that I was eating on that entire trip. And I'll tell you that from a kid perspective, as long as I had those two things, I was fine. I didn't even like the cookies, Wellness Warrior, that they tried to give me like little treats too, like everybody else was having the cookies, the candies. None of it. I didn't want. None of it tasted good to me. I remember just not liking any of the food there. Now, I'm going to point out something that I today find interesting. Almost every single day, my cousins and my brother had to manage the bathroom story. So, you're going back more than like 30 some odd years. And the bathroom, maybe even more than 40 years. They had what you call an outhouse where we were staying. And basically, it's a toilet shaped structure on top of a hole. And so there's bugs coming up when you actually do your business. And so honestly, for long things that would take you in the bathroom, we'll call them BMs, I only had to manage that twice a week because that was my typical cadence of going to the washroom. And so where my brother and my cousins were in there every day and freaking out and hating that, I managed it, I think, probably 8 times during the trip. So let's fast forward to my teen years, right? When I started getting pocket money from my parents, I would go to the corner store and buy junk food, like all the teenagers. Anytime we were out with friends, I would go buy junk food. If anytime that I was on my own and bored, I would go buy junk food. And so I started to have much more access to garbage because in my household, my family, so my parents were not big on buying us junk. So most of our snacks were fruits But everyone, not to say we didn't have any. We had ice cream, we had pizza suppers sometimes, and we did have treats in the house, but just not on a daily basis. People not driving their cars. I'm not really sure why he didn't turn. We're in a turning lane. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, and I want to compare that to my cousins' homes, because my cousins' parents bought so much junk food. So one thing I liked to do when I was growing up was go to my cousins' houses because they had junk food. There was always something fun that I could get over there that we didn't have in our house. Again, not because, actually, when you look at the financials, my parents actually did very well in life, right? Comparatively in our family scheme, this was a conscious decision that they were making that we were not going to be junk food eaters. My parents were so focused. Wow, people are just not driving well today. My parents were so focused on us being academically ahead of the curve, health-wise ahead of the curve, that, and they didn't like wasting money. That's the other thing. I think that they saw junk food as junk food and was something that should be once in a while, not all the time. No, I today as an adult appreciate that. I want to just point this out because, again, I feel like that trip to Barbados, looking back on it and realizing how, like, I just didn't even get the connection between the different households. And then when I started eating more junk food, guess what happened? My bathrooming scenario changed. Junk food increasing in my diet started to mean I was going quite regularly Wellness Warrior. But again, like, it happened slowly over time. And I don't even think that I really realized this until I stopped and looked back at that particular trip. And we were talking about it recently, and we were laughing about it, about how I was the only one that wasn't suffering with that bathroom or that bathroom situation. And it reminded me of the fact that, yeah, that was not my story in teen years. And the change in my bathrooming followed me out of my teen years and into my adulthood. That I was going to the bathroom daily, like everybody else. I never really noticed that story changed for me until it actually. Anyways, can we fast forward to now? I'm an adult and I decide to give this carnivore thing a try. The first time I tried it, I did it for 2 months. And during that 2-month period, again, I noticed bathrooming is not as often. Rain is really coming down. And I don't have a problem with the bathrooming not being very often. If I remember correctly, it was just like, because I had some understanding from Dr. Barry, who put up a video about bathrooming and how often we should go and da-da-da-da. And he did point out that there are lots of people that go up like 3 times a week and it's perfectly fine. And so when it happened to me, I wasn't concerned. In Dr. Barry's video, he also pointed out very specifically that not going to the bathroom and constipation were 2 different things. He pointed out that you're only constipated if there's something that would want to be exiting that isn't exiting and is giving you a lot of trouble to exit. That's constipation. If there's nothing to exit, he said that's just your body didn't create anything for you to exit, and so any bowel movement. And he pointed out that that's normal. The healthier you eat, the more of the nutrients you're getting out of the food, and therefore you're going to go to the bathroom less. Well, that was happy information for me to learn. And so in that 2 months, I didn't worry about it. And then I went back to eating keto diet, 10 grams of carbs or less, because that's how I was doing it. But I realized that when I reintroduced veg, wow, was I gassy? Was I bloated? Was I bathrooming like crazy? I was so uncomfortable on this warrior that I started to play around with the idea of just keeping the carbs in my diet to basically only the things that I actually really enjoy eating, because I didn't see the value in putting too much veg into my diet, but also because during my 2 months, I had no problem going to the bathroom. But I still had avocado and olives and salad once in a while in my diet. Again, no concerns about bathrooming until 6 months ago. I do carnivore, and now I'm really not having any vegetation in my diet. And you know what? I'm back to the story that I was in for the 2 months. My bathrooming is going completely fine. I don't have any concerns. I'm never in a position where I feel constipated. But even more importantly, Wellness Warrior, I learned that none of that vegetation was doing my health any good. All the meat, fish, poultry, eggs that I'm eating, doing amazing things for my body. And it helped me to see that stressing myself about how much veg is in my diet, trying to get in veg that causes my stomach to do flips and make me uncomfortable, bloated, and all the things, isn't worth the toxins that I'm bringing in, first of all. And now learning that actually there isn't anything that I would get from eating that vegetation that I wouldn't get from eating appropriate meat, fish, poultry, eggs, sources. So I stopped doing that to myself. I stopped making myself crazy eating things that were not even helping my health. Why am I not concerned about fiber? Why am I not concerned about bathrooming? Why am I not concerned about micronutrients? Why am I not concerned about all these things that people tell us we absolutely need to have or we're going to be sick? It's because we don't need to have them. So I went on the internet to do a little search to find out, like, what would they say is the normal frequency of bathrooming? What would they say is healthy? Because I know people are going to do that, right? Because even though I'm saying this is what happened to me, it's good for you to double check and make sure that I'm not just crazy over here. So I went on the internet, and what I found is that it said the range or frequency of bathrooming for a typical person can be anywhere from 3 times a day to 3 times a week. Like, there's that much variation. And I feel like I've lived that variation, so I completely understand and agree with them that, yep, there's that much variation. But I also feel that one thing that I figured out is that that variation isn't happening because it's healthy. That variation is happening because whatever you're eating is going to impact your gut health, is going to impact your body's health, and then how much nutrients your body can get out of what you're eating is going to determine how much garbage you have coming out of you. So, it's kind of like we love buying packaging where the manufacturer has packaged things in a way that allows us to open it up and have less to recycle or less to throw in the garbage, and we have the product that we asked for. And our body has a similar situation. My body loves it when I give it meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and it can get most use out of whatever I've put in, and there's just a little bit of waste. Versus when I'm eating fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, grains, all of this stuff that my body has to then, chemicals, because if I'm eating processed food, there's chemicals. When my body has to deal with all the packaging to get to the minute amount of nutrition that's buried inside of ultra processed foods, to get the 50% of nutrition that's buried in nuts and seeds and fruits and vegetables, but then it still has to deal with the toxins that's in all of that stuff. And so all the waste that it's producing versus getting the healthy food, so meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and being able to use almost all of it. The reason that we poop so much is because our packaging is bringing so much waste that we put out that much waste. I don't worry as a carnivore about not going to the bathroom every 5 seconds because I understand that the fiber thing is a lie, right? That I was going to the bathroom daily, sometimes more than once a day, because of all the garbage that was coming in with the nutrition my body was trying to get out of what I was eating. If you eat garbage, you're going to go to the bathroom a lot. I really hope that this helps you to not worry so much about going to the bathroom once every other day, or even as according to Google 3 times a week. That's totally acceptable and normal. So if you're falling within those kind of ranges, it's fine. And it just talks about how well your body is able to extract what it needs to extract out of what you're giving it. If you are going to the bathroom, so if there's something to come out that's not coming out, that's a different story, wellness warrior. But that's not what we're talking about here. Oh, and by the way, if you're doing carnivore and you're going to the bathroom and there's something to come out that's not coming out, you probably need to add more fat to your diet. That's something that I know helps me a lot. And I eat the right amount of fat to go with the protein that I'm eating. Bathrooming is not an issue. And by the way, what Dr. Chaffee helped me to understand is if you overdo it, your body will just send you to the bathroom a little faster to get rid of the fat that it didn't need. I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you're able to eat your healthy carnivore diet, eat your healthy keto diet, and not worry that you're not going to the bathroom every single day. Because even on keto, if you're doing it well, you might end up not going to the bathroom every day. Click on the video that's right there to see the next video that's going to help you to understand eating healthy and stay on track. And there's links in the description if you want to join nutritional coaching with me so that we can keep you on track.